Hey everyone, Marathon Hurley here with a special tech demo. Today I'm going to be I'm doing a tech demo for the PSP. I just got my component cables in today and I've been thinking about doing some games on the PSP for a potential Let's Play, so yeah, I wanted to make sure that it would actually work on the screen and get an idea of how it would look and how me playing it would kind of operate and everything, and also to make sure that my computer can handle editing the videos, because one issue I've had with some of the PS3 games that I've tried to do tech demos with, the Elgato software just crashes every time I try to use it. It's actually pretty frustrating, but hopefully the PSP won't be a problem, because I was able to do a PS2 game and the PSP doesn't have any technical, or I don't think it's more technically advanced than the PS2, so the video shouldn't be hard to edit, and this video won't be particularly long. It's just going to be a small, again, it's a very small tech demo. I'm going to be doing a little Crimson Gem Saga. I have a couple of save files. I haven't played this game in a while, so I can't say for sure I'll remember everything, but the goal here is not to actually remember everything. It's just to see if I can actually make this game work in terms of technically speaking, and whether or not this is the game I decide to do or not is still up in the air. I'm thinking about doing Gungnir as well for the PSP, and there's Wild Arms XF, which I've thought about playing, Riviera, there's Rolancer, I've mentioned that before. There's also Final Fantasy 1, although I'm a little bit hesitant to do Final Fantasy 1 for the PSP because, you know, to really make it work you have to do a lot of, to do some of the end game stuff, you either need to do a lot of grinding at the end of the game for stat up items, or be willing to run certain dungeons over and over and over again, or you have to do basically a low level run until you do the class change, which also takes way too long. So I just don't know if I want to do all of that, because if I did Final Fantasy 1, given that a number of people have already played it, I would want to what am I trying to say? I'd want to make it somewhat unique. I'd want to add a max stat something. I wouldn't just want to play it. So I'm hesitant to do Final Fantasy 1, but I might consider that. But for now, let's just go with Crimson Gem Saga. Now we're in some random jungle here. I can't remember where we're supposed to be going, but the basic premise of this game is that you control this guy. His name is, wow, I can't even remember his name. What is his name? Let's go to status here. Killian, that's right, Killian. He's a Chevalier, which is basically a military soldier. He was second in his class in terms of performance, which becomes like this big trope, like, oh, he was second in his class, and like your typical anime stuff with all that. Oh no, I'm actually in a city. Huh. Well, can I leave now? I actually want to show off some of the battle stuff. I don't want to actually show off the city. So we were supposed to go to that town, and we're already there. But yeah, what I really want to show off is the combat in this game, and it's your basic turn-based combat. As you saw there, enemies are on the screen. You can sneak up on them. If you do, then you get to do some damage to the enemy, which is nice. In terms of your abilities here, you have attack. You can use an item. You can escape. You can defend. So pretty straightforward there. Skills, you have individual skills. You also have skills these are unique skills, but you have skills you can do with party member. Yeah, so you have these unique skills, support skills, and then combination skills. The menu system is pretty easy to navigate, which I like. But beyond that, it's pretty straightforward. One other thing that happens in this game is that when you attack an enemy, you occasionally have a chance to do a follow-up attack, and let's see if I can get it to work here. It's random when it happens, but basically if you attack an enemy, there's a chance that the X button will pop up on the screen. If you hit it when you see it, you do a second attack, and then you can do that up to 3 times, I think, and if you hit it enough times, then like the last attack is like some combo attack. Now when you see Killian there, when you saw him do like 30,000 damage, that's because he has a particular sword called the 30,000 sword, which basically it says it does 30,000 damage every time you hit an enemy, but it actually doesn't. It just does whatever the appropriate damage would be for, in terms of the damage calculation. It just shows you 30,000, which is kind of annoying actually, because you can't really tell how much damage you're doing. You can't tell if you're doing an appropriate amount of damage or if you're really weak or whatnot. So that's frustrating. But at this moment, it's the most powerful weapon we have. So I screwed it up, but it's the most powerful weapon that we have. So we're going with it. But yeah, you saw with Spinel there, that the woman who attacked, what happened was she had a chance to, when I attacked, she hit the X, I mean, there was like, what was it? The X button popped up, and if I would have hit it in time, then I would have had a chance to do a follow-up attack. Now, one thing that now you can see I've screwed it up again. One thing that this could be, okay, so I did it correctly there. So one thing I was concerned about was because I'm playing this on my TV, that the timing might be off a bit, but it doesn't look like that's the case. Now, I am getting a little bit low on health, so I want to make sure I'm being careful here. So let's go ahead and use a healing spell. So that guy, despite his massive hammer, is actually, as you can tell by his damage output, basically our white mage. He's kind of a monk, so to speak, I guess. Well, not a monk, because I guess Ladok here is our monk. But yeah, he's basically like a priest who just happens to carry around a knife. I mean, not a knife, a hammer. In many ways, it's like the old Final Fantasy white mage, who can use hammers, but not to particularly useful effects. And then Spinel is basically our thief, although she's fast, but she also has, she can do some pretty serious damage with her combos and some of her special attacks as well. So, and then Killian being our, now if you see there, I did it, so it's 2 attacks. So you do 2 attacks, then your third attack is like some combo attack, or like some super attack, as you saw. But yeah, pretty straightforward battle system. Nothing too fancy there. One issue with this game, which I would have to figure out, and probably a test run, is that money is really hard to come by in this game. Now you can see I have 400,000 Gelder, as I believe the money is, but the prices for items are so exorbitant that it doesn't even matter. It's kind of a problem. So you spend a lot of time grinding just to get the money to get items. So one thing I would need to figure out is what items I could skip and which ones I need, so that I could save time. Because as you can see, I've already put 59 hours into this game, and we're still a ways away from the, well, not a ways away, but we're surprisingly far away from the ending for it being this long. So there's got to be a way to cut that down a bit, because I don't want to play a game that necessarily that's going to take up 60 hours. I mean, if we're talking about 30 minutes per episode, that's 120 episodes. That's a lot of recording, so I don't know if I'm going to do that. But, and obviously I would do a lot of the grinding off screen, but I'll figure that out. Now, one thing I want to show off as well is the skill system. So each character, as you can see here, has the ability to learn certain skills. So, for instance, Killian has some magic, some attack magic, and also some healing magic. And then he also has some strong physical attacks, which you might expect from like a paladin or a knight, although not the attack magic. But our Spinel, our thief here, has a lot of debuffs, and she has some other attacks that are pretty powerful, such as Eviscerate and Illusion Assault. And then, that's not what I wanted to do. Then I can't remember what his name is, but our white mage here has mostly healing attacks, or healing and support magic. Although he has a couple of physical attacks, but nothing really worth using. And then Ladok, our monk, basically has buffs for himself, and then he has some pretty powerful attacks down here as well. Now, if you pick a character and you go to their skill tree, what you can basically do is, when you get SP, you go to an attack, and then you can push X to spend your skill points, and you can see that it fills up the bar progressively. So it's a lot like Final Fantasy 13 in the sense that if you can't make it all the way there, then what ends up happening is they just cut you off halfway there. So then, yeah. Now, and you can see we have all sorts of attacks here. We have this combination attack, which requires the full party. So everyone has to have the ability, and I think they have to have all their turns in a row, like, set up. like without any interruption or something like that. So they're not always that useful, but not terrible either. So there's that, and then what else can we use SP for? I thought there was something else that we could use SP for. I don't know if there's anything else we can use SP for. I'll have to double check that, but yeah, you use SP to learn abilities. Gelt is our white mage, but yeah. So it's pretty interesting, and it gives you a lot of customization, not a lot of customization, but a fair bit of a customization, because if you look at this skill tree, I mean, it's from here you have 4 branches, and each of those branches, some of them have a couple branches as well, so it's pretty interesting, and there's a bit of strategy, and the game can actually be pretty hard. It's, I think, a fair challenge for a JRPG. And what's nice is, I think you can get this for maybe $10. I actually bought this in a bunch of those games that I have on my PSP now, when they had this big JRPG sale where they were selling these games for like $3 to $5. So I bought a bunch of them. So, but yeah, it's, I don't know, pretty nice. So this game's pretty interesting. I think that's all I really want to show off here. I just wanted to make sure the recording worked, and I think it is. So yeah, as long as this episode works and I can get it uploaded to YouTube, I might be playing you might see me playing a PSP game in the very near future. But until then, this has been Marathon Hurdler. I want to thank you as always for checking out my videos, and hopefully I'll see you next time.